Prosperity is spreading in India, but happiness is not. And the main reason is poor governance. Governance has two dimensions. One is the institutional dimension, the other one is the moral dimension. I was concerned with the moral dimension, that in every act of corruption, there is a moral failure. So that, I think, weighed on me, and I decided to go to the Mahabharata. Now, why the Mahabharata? It's a book with such moral failures. You'd think this is a surprising sort of decision. But in fact, the Mahabharata is obsessed with dharma. Moreover, Mahabharata deals with the public dharma, dharma of the king, the rulers, and so the public space. And third, nobody in the Mahabharata says, let's ask God about what is dharma. So you have to figure it out yourself. And I think this helps in improving one's moral skills. So the Mahabharata actually gave me a very good platform to go into the moral sentiments of human beings and understand much more the moral dimension of our lives. And that's really how the quest for dharma, and it's a frustrating quest because the Mahabharata doesn't give you any answers. In fact, one lady in Khan Market, she bought my book and then she brought it back to me and she said, I want my money back. And she said, you don't give any answers. So I tried to explain to her that dharma, the Mahabharata calls it sukshma, which means subtle. It's hard to know. It's hard to know right and wrong. It's not like memorizing the names of the rivers of India and then tomorrow repeating that in an exam. A lot more difficult. But nevertheless, I think the Mahabharata, even though it's a dark story where there's a war in which everybody dies, the victors have to rule over an empty kingdom, nevertheless it snatches victory from defeat through wonderful stories. Like one quick one, let me tell you. It's at the end of the epic, and the Emperor Yudhishthira is going to heaven. And on the way to heaven, a stray dog attaches itself to him. And so the king and the dog walk together towards heaven. And when they reach heaven, Indra, the god of heaven, comes out and he says, welcome, great king. We have waited for you for this moment. And Yudhishthira, instead of going into heaven, he asks, but what about this dog? Indra says he's not even your dog. Besides, this is heaven, no dogs allowed. And at this point, Yudhishthira thinks, what kind of a place is this heaven which doesn't even understand the ABC of dharma? That if someone asks you for refuge, you help them out. Now, nobody I know would have refused to go to heaven the way Yudhishthira did. But every child in every culture will understand the meaning of dharma from this story. And so what the Mahabharata is telling us is that, yes, it's a dark world, human beings are flawed, dharma is difficult to know, but an act of goodness is one of the very few things we possess. And we may all be in the gutter, but some of us can look at the stars. So really this was my quest in this book. I must confess that I didn't start knowing where this was going to lead. I spent 2 cold winters in Chicago working with Sanskrit scholars and spending days and nights in the Regenstein Library reading the Mahabharata. But at the end of the day, the book has done well. And I suppose it's done well partly because it's a tribute to the Mahabharata. That the Mahabharata is a perennial epic. It's there forever. And as Suktankar, the editor of the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute's Pune project on the critical edition of the Mahabharata says, the Mahabharata is us, all of us. And that's really, I think, one of the reasons why the book is successful. The other reason, I suppose, is that I have constantly compared the world of the Mahabharata to our world, to the failures of Duryodhan and the failures of Draupadi, to our failures, to their triumphs, to our triumphs. And so people tell me that for the first time they realize why this book is significant. And that's nice for a writer to know when you have spent 6 long years working on it.